if we confess our sins, He is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. Let's talk for a moment of what a sin is. A sin means this. The word can be defined, missing the mark. Right? Think of a bullseye. Anybody acquainted with a bullseye? You know, whether it's a dart board, whether it's a archery, target, whatever else, the bullseye. And don't you, by the way, how many of you, if you're aiming at a bullseye, aim for somewhere else in the middle? Come on. Don't we all aim for we don't always hit the middle, but we should be aiming. How many of us get up and go, well, you know what? I know I'm not that good, so I'm going to shoot for the outside ring here. Come on. We always, I know darts, you dart players know that it's not always that way, but bullseye, right? We aim for the bullseye. It's the idea. And that's what's right. That's what God says. That's the standard right there, what's in the middle. And anything else goes left or right, north or south, is off. Missing the mark. That's what sin is. It's not doing what God says. That's basically it. Not doing what God says. And he says, so you're going to sin because you have a sin nature. But God says, now if we confess our sins. Now, check out, it's a condition. It's conditional. He says, if we confess our sins. Now, what does he mean by that word confess? Homologeo. Something like that. It's Greek. It means this. It means to call it the same thing. More than just, confession would be like, I sinned, or Lord, forgive me for sinning. It's like a word, right? I just kind of put out a word. No, it's not that at all. I want to read what it says to us in Proverbs 28:13 regarding this idea. He that covers his sins shall not prosper, but he who confesses and forsakes shall have mercy. So, confessing my sins, what does that look like? There's an action involved in that. It's agreeing with God. In other words, calling it what He calls it. And here's what happens. It happened to Adam in the garden. Remember when Adam sinned in the garden? Where all this stuff got started? The first thing that he did is he hid from God. He wanted to hide. He covered himself. He recognized he was naked. And then he hid from God when God showed up. The tendency to want to hide or to walk in the dark, to hide in the dark, hide from God. This idea of hiding. And he got real creative when God knew where he was. You can't hide from God. And God wanted him to fess up. That's what God wanted him to do. Hey, Adam, what have you done? Like God doesn't know what I did? Come on. Come on, Lord, you see everything. That's not the reason he asked me. So he could have more information. He already knows everything, so he can't learn. But anyway, what did he ask for? Because he was giving man a chance to get right and cleanse his conscience and get right with God. How could he get right? He had to call it what God called it. You know the simple answer would have been for Adam at the time? Lord, I sinned. Or I did what you told me not to do. That fruit, Lord, you told me not to eat of, I did it. And my wife's involved too, Lord. What can we do? Why is that so funny? It's true, right? It's true. That's a nice way of putting it, right?
That's right.
Because that's not what he said, right? He said this. This is what he said. Lord, it's the woman you gave me. Look at that. It's the woman you gave me. So he's number 3. He blames it on the woman. That's out there. And then he says, you gave her to me. And then, me, I'm in there somewhere, right? But I don't want to own that. I don't want to own that. But we know the Bible's clear that Adam was the one that's charged with the sin, not the woman even. Even though she was first, you could say. She was deceived. The man ate and he knew better. He wasn't deceived. But this idea of hiding from God and wanting to call it something else, it's one to